The king of the north!
I am the dragon's daughter.
By what right does the wolf judge the lion?
Hello, sweet summer children. Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 2, Stormborn was trash. Absolute trash. Psych, just kidding. I give the episode a strong 8, but what I want to know is what kind of rating you give the episode. So let me know in the comments. I thought it was actually really good, and I want to talk about it, so let's talk about it. The episode opens in a storm at Dragonstone, and in my opinion, they ran down Daenerys' whole life in a matter of minutes. Tyrion points out that Daenerys was born in a storm just like this, which is a callback to her birth. When Daenerys was born, a storm so fierce howled in the night, tearing gargoyles off of Dragonstone and smashing her father's fleet. Does it sound familiar yet? I think the episode title and Euron smashing Daenerys' allies' fleet is very appropriate, especially because I think this Daenerys that we saw this episode is going to die, and we're going to get a complete new fire and blood Daenerys after she hears about what happened to the Greyjoy fleet. After we move from her birth synopsis, she begins to question Varys, and while she's speaking to the spider, she reminds him she's not as dumb as Viserys.
Out for their true queen. They drink secret toasts to my health. People used to tell my brother that sort of thing, and he was stupid enough to believe them.
And this is also a callback to Season 1, Episode 1, Winter is Coming, when Illyrio tells Viserys,
The people drink secret toasts to your health. They cry out for their true king.
if you're a book reader, it seems clear that they have merged Viserys and young Griff into one character, at least in my opinion. Daenerys talks of the attempt on her life and the order being given by King Robert Baratheon, the usurper, that took the throne and decimated the Targaryen dynasty. It was Varys who gave the order to kill Daenerys, and Varys also had a hand in selling her to Khal Drogo. So in case you missed it, Illyrio and Varys are besties, and they've been scheming, and they've had a hand in everything that has and hasn't happened for Daenerys since she was born. The scene actually made me kind of emotional. Daenerys went through a few emotions in that scene. I'm worried about her a little bit. I'm just worried about her just a little bit. She went from thankful to angry to calm to understanding to sincere, then to threatening to burn Varys alive. It's a lot of emotions to go through in a single conversation, so I'm worried about her mental health a little, just a little. And I also feel like this conversation could have happened on the long boat ride they were on together from Slaver's Bay. But what do I know? Then we get to see the unexpected visitor, Melisandre. Daenerys is thankful for the help the Red Priest gave her in Meereen, and she tells Melisandre she is welcomed there. The Red Priest rallied the people to support Daenerys while Meereen was in an uproar. Melisandre then tells her about the prince who was promised prophecy, which the show has watered down, and I get it, it makes for better TV. We know Melisandre thinks that Jon is the prince who was promised, and the Red Priest and Essos think that title belongs to Daenerys, but Missandei lets them know that the Valyrian translation is wrong, and it's in fact gender neutral. The fact that they added this translation means it's important, and also means it's probably Daenerys, or most everyone should assume it's Daenerys. I don't know. Maester Aemon tells Sam of this correction in the books during their voyage to Old Town. But Melly thinks that Daenerys and Jon Snow both have a part to play. Like we didn't know that already. I think we all got that. Jon and Daenerys, most important people in this story. She informs Daenerys to send for Jon Snow, the king in the north. Tyrion remembers Jon when they went to the wall together. Tyrion and Jon actually got along really well, and it was Tyrion who was the only person that was honest with Jon and told him what he was actually signing up for, because no one else did. No one else told him. It was just Tyrion. Daenerys summons Jon, but no, not to help with the long night or hear his marvelous tales of heroics, but to bend the knee. In Winterfell, the children are getting trained to be archers to help in the wars to come. There's even little girls that are getting trained with bows. Jon gets a raven from Tyrion, and it seems to be written in Tyrion's own hand, with another callback to Season 1, Episode 1, Winter is Coming.
What the hell do you know about being a bastard?
All dwarves are bastards in their father's eyes.
Tyrion ends the letter with what he told Jon in their first conversation. So then Jon actually asked Sansa for her input. I think it's the first time anyone's ever asked Sansa for her input on anything. I'm just kidding. So she vouched for Tyrion. Tyrion is her husband, and Tyrion always treated her kind, but she still does not want Jon to go meet with the Dragon Queen. But come on, y'all. The craziest part of this scene, which I thought was kind of hilarious, is that Davos has to tell Jon that dragons breathe fire. Like, Jon doesn't see dragons and immediately associate the two. I don't know.
Ah, the Starks. Quick tempers, slow minds.
If the Mad King's daughter takes the Iron Throne, she'll destroy the realm as we know it.
Sometimes you don't even need words. When Cersei is addressing some of the lords of Westeros, you can see her new Kingsguard, and their armor matches the Mountain's armor. Her words are kind of ironic. She says the Dothraki and Unsullied are mindless savages that will destroy your holdfasts, burn your villages to the ground.
They burned most everything in the Riverlands. Our fields, our granaries, our homes.
Rape and enslave your women and butcher your children without a second thought.
They took our women, then they took them again. When they was done, they butchered them as if they was animals. They covered our children in pitch and lit them on fire.
Okay. She refers to Daenerys as the Mad King's daughter, and she uses the fact that foreign invaders doing all the shit that Lannisters have done over the last 6 seasons is a reason for them to rally behind her. Okay. Randall Tarley brings up the fact that Daenerys has the same amount of dragons as Aegon when he conquered the 7 kingdoms. Randall Tarley is Samwell's father, and as Jamie points out, Randall Tarley is a really good military commander. He's the only person to ever defeat Robert Baratheon, and Randall despises wildlings. In the eyes of Randall Tarley, the Dothraki are probably Eastern wildlings. So, a mix between that and Jamie offering him the position of warden in the South, he's almost definitely going to switch sides and join Cersei. Jorah is at the Citadel looking gross as fuck, let's be honest. Sam finally gets his name and realizes who he is. Jorah is the son of Jeor Mormont, who saved Sam's life during the attack on the Fist of the First Men. Basically, the Maester says there's nothing they can do and gives him one day to off himself. Sam brings up Princess Shireen, and Maester Ebrose basically says that Jorah isn't a baby, and Maester Crescent treated Shireen immediately, and you should mind your business. It would actually be kind of crazy if Shireen's grayscale just stopped just because of all the dragon glass on Dragonstone. I don't know. Cersei and Qyburn are in the dungeons of the Red Keep with the legendary dragon skulls. We've only been down there one other time, and it's when Arya went down there chasing that cat. There are tons of dragon skulls down there, and I think it's possible that dragon bone may be used as a weapon against the White Walkers. We have seen Catspaw in Sam's books, and Catspaw does have a dragon bone hilt, so there may be some later importance of dragon bone. Balerion the Black Dread's skull is huge. He was Aegon the Conqueror's dragon, and Drogon is often referenced as Balerion the Black Dread born again. And Cersei shooting Balerion's skull may be some foreshadowing that it may be Drogon that takes the arrow. He may be wounded, but I doubt he will die. That's just my opinion. Drogon is too important to the story right now. So Drogon is now about the same size Balerion was. Qyburn unveils this anti-dragon weapon. We've seen a similar weapon on the wall during the Battle of Castle Black. A giant is killed with a weapon that looks similar. However, standing on the ground, shooting a dragon that's flying around while you're in mid-battle isn't going to be easy. So like I said, I think this weapon may wound one of the dragons, but I do not think it will kill one. And if it does kill one, will Qyburn bring it back like he did the mountain? On Dragonstone, in the Chamber of the Painted Table, Yara wants to go full force to King's Landing. Tyrion has gotten word that Illyria and her pack of hateful hoodlums poisoned Myrcella, and clearly he doesn't think a lot of her. Lady Olenna is still dressed in black and is still mourning the loss of her family. Daenerys and Tyrion have a plan. Yara and Illyria go to Sunspear in Dorne and bring back the Dornishmen to fight alongside the Tyrells in King's Landing, while the Unsullied take Castle Rock. However, most of this plan has already gone to shit, and we will talk about that later. One of the best scenes was when Daenerys and Olenna have their sit down, and I want to explain what Olenna was telling Daenerys. Olenna enlightens her on peace and how it's a figment of her fucking imagination. She advises Daenerys to ignore Tyrion.
The lords of Westeros are sheep. Are you a sheep? No. You're a dragon. Be a dragon.
The Targaryen words are fire and blood, and that's been the Targaryen way for years. Daenerys is in the Game of Thrones now. She's a player in Westeros, but she's doing things the Tyrion way, the Lannister way. But Aegon didn't conquer Westeros because he relied on Dornish soldiers and Tyrell soldiers and schemes and plots. Aegon conquered Westeros with fire and blood, and Daenerys is going to learn soon that that's her only option. Fire and blood. Be a dragon, Daenerys. Be a dragon. So Grey Worm and Missandei finally got their scissor session popping. It's a weird scene, and the fact they spent like 5 minutes of valuable time on it lets me know that either Grey Worm or Missandei is about to die. So Grey Worm may get killed during the battle at Castle Rock, and that may explain why Missandei doesn't have the dragon pendant here, but then has one later. So she may take it off Grey Worm's corpse. But back at the Citadel, there was a huge possible spoiler. So there's a popular theory that Sam is the narrator of this story, that Sam is reading this story to us, the watchers or readers. The globe thingy in the credits does a little flick where it zooms in different places on the map, and this same symbol is at the Citadel. But Maester Ebro says in the scene that he is currently writing the wars following King Robert's death, and he's not writing them so no one will read them, which is almost where our story begins. Sam doesn't like the title, and he asks Sam, well, what would you call it? Sam answers, something a bit more poetic. Is A Song of Fire and Ice not a bit more poetic? But I hate that theory, so moving on. Sam tells the Maester that he thinks he found a cure for advanced grayscale by reading Archmaester Pylos' research on rare diseases. And we find out that Archmaester Pylos died from grayscale. How ironic. So the procedure is dangerous and forbidden, but Sam breaks up in Jorah's cell while Jorah is writing Daenerys a suicide note and starts to treat his grayscale, and I was about to throw up. This scene was absolutely disgusting to me. I could barely look at it, but Sam starts to peel this Jorah like a rotten, fuzzy, scaly orange. When Sam was telling Jorah to be quiet, look how close he brings his finger to his mouth. Oh, I just can't. It's like he's gonna get grayscale on his lips. Then when they cut this scene from the disgusting grayscale treatment to a man eating a pot pie, my stomach immediately turned. But my heart warmed when I saw Arya and Hot Pie at the inn at the crossroads. This scene made me emotional because my little sweet Arya looks so savage eating that pie. Hot Pie is looking at her like she's lost her mind. She also told him of the 2 pies that she baked last season. Hot Pie asked Arya if she met Brienne, and he still thinks that if you have on armor, that makes you a knight. And that's a callback to season 2.
How do you know he was a knight?
Well, because he's got armor on.
When he tells Arya about the Battle of the Bastards and Jon being king in the north, her facial expression, everything about her seems to change. And when she leaves, she struggles with whether to go north or south. It's like she's at a crossroads and she has to make up her mind, but she indeed goes north, and I lost it. Tears were everywhere. So in the north, Jon shares the 2 ravens that he received, one from Tyrion and one from Sam. When Littlefinger hears Tyrion is alive, he looks shook. Let me tell you why. Littlefinger and Olenna plotted Joffrey's murder and framed Tyrion for it. Tyrion was framed for murder because Littlefinger wanted Sansa to be free from her marriage to Tyrion so Littlefinger could do with her as he pleased. Whether it be marry her himself or marry her to someone else, as long as Tyrion is alive, Tyrion is her husband. And I totally ship Tyrion and Sansa. Sansa, yet again, questions Jon in front of everyone. She voices her displeasure with his decisions, and all the northern lords and the lords of the Vale and the little Mormont bear, all of them question his decisions. I wish they just shut the fuck up, to be honest. But they make a big fuss about it, and Sansa is immediately fine with his decision when he puts her in charge. See, you see where her intentions are? She's fussing, and as soon as he says the north is yours, she calms down. But what struck me as really odd is when he tells her the north is hers, she looks at Littlefinger. We get to see Eddard Stark in the crypts, and it looks like he's been given a replica sword of ice. It looks like that to me, anyway. Jon is there, and here comes the Mockingbird, talking all this nonsense about thank me, and I love Sansa just as I love Cat, and Jon chokes the shit out of him just on GP. No, Jon clearly isn't fond of Littlefinger talking like he might get with Sansa. Jon tells Littlefinger that he will kill him himself.
Ah, the Starks. Quick tempers, slow minds.
Jon ultimately leaves for Dragonstone, which he will probably ride to White Harbor and then take a ship to Dragonstone, and we will see Jon in Dragonstone next episode. Arya reuniting with Nymeria made me cry a river. A lot of people didn't understand the scene, but as mad as I am that it seems like it was just a cameo, I feel the scene was beautifully executed, although I'm almost sure it won't go down like this in the books though. In the books, Nymeria and Arya have a strong bond. Arya is a powerful warg and can warg into Nymeria from all the way across the Narrow Sea. Also, the direwolves in the books aren't just loyal pets. They are very important pieces in the game, but I get where the show was going with this, and we know they don't really care about the direwolves. They do not care about the direwolves. We haven't seen Ghost yet at all, and one of the writers actually tweeted that they actually did shoot a scene for this episode with Ghost, and it was cut and he fought for it to stay. But anyway, when I thought they might be doing a Nymeria reunion, my hopes were high, but my expectations were low when it came to Nymeria's return. Nymeria recognized Arya. I know a lot of people think that she didn't recognize Arya. She recognized Arya. She knew exactly who Arya was. That's why her growl stopped. And Arya was begging her to come with her. And Arya was saying, she's going home. She's finally going home. She's going north. Come with me. And when Nymeria leaves, at first Arya's upset, but then Arya says, that's not you. It's a callback to season 1 when Ned tells Arya that she will be a lady and marry a lord and bear him sons. And Arya says, no, that's not me. And that's basically what Nymeria was saying. I don't want to go to Winterfell. I don't want to be a pet. I want to be free. I want to hunt with my pack. That's not me. Nymeria was huge, way bigger than Ghost, and Ghost was the runt of the litter. But Nymeria has been living in the wild, and it may be a thing kind of like dragons, because dragons grow bigger when they're not in captivity, so maybe it's the same for direwolves. Who knows? But regardless, one day the show might go back to Nymeria, but I doubt it. The Sand Snakes were still annoying. 2 down, 2 to go. Illyria and Yara were hooking up, and Euron Greyjoy pulls up on them in the night and rides down on his boarding device like a madman. The Greyjoy fleet is getting hammered, and Euron is laughing as he fights like a crazed psychopath. Tyene manages to get to the cabin of the ship to protect her mother. Notice that none of Euron's crew talks or says a word. That's because they're mutes. He's cut all their tongues out, and that's why his ship is called Silence. The Sand Snakes were just talking about killing the mountain and yada yada and all the people they're gonna kill, but 2-on-1 they couldn't take Euron, and he killed them both. But I did see one of them stab him, and their spears and knives are usually coated with some kind of poison, so that will be interesting to see if he was poisoned or not. They might not have had time to put any poison on it. I'm not sure how poisons work. Euron fights with Yara, and Yara is actually pretty badass. And Euron's axe is pretty badass too. His axe may actually be Valyrian steel. There is one Valyrian steel axe in the books, and in the books, Euron has a lot of cool shit. He has dragon binder, a full suit of Valyrian armor, at one time possibly a dragon egg, you know, the usual uncle stuff. But if they don't do the horn or armor, they could give him a Valyrian steel axe. And Valyrian steel is darker than normal steel, so this axe kind of fits the bill. But Theon, poor Theon. I've seen a lot of people giving Theon the blues. Let me just say, he went through something super traumatic. Yes, the North remembers, and he betrayed House Stark, but it's so much deeper than that. Like, I feel like he's paid for it. And just when you thought old Theon was back, he jumped overboard. The look on Yar's face, the tear that fell through her eye, seeing Reek take over Theon's body and then Theon jump ship, was heartbreaking. But the craziest thing was the laugh. Euron's laugh. It's so reminiscent of the Joker. There's just bloody shit going down, tongues getting cut out. Euron has blood all over him. He has successfully destroyed the Iron Fleet. We could argue the logistics of this whole battle, but it was an awesome scene, and what made it even more awesome was seeing the Sand Snakes tied to the prow of that ship dead. It's book Euron, it's Forsaken Euron. He's nuttier than a fruitcake. He's crazy, and the actor did a phenomenal job convincing me that he's an absolute psychopath. Him and Cersei are two peas in a pod. Theon floats in the water as the Silence sails away with Yara, Tyene, and Illyria as gifts for Cersei. What's interesting though is that Euron's Iron Fleet will have to sail back past Dragonstone to get these gifts to Cersei. I'm sure they won't have trouble. They've been running past Dragonstone on the regular without problems. Overall, I love this episode. I think the director and the writers did a great job. I think naming the episode Stormborn was absolutely clever, because by next episode, I think we're going to get Dragon Daenerys, Fire and Blood Daenerys. No more nice girl, no more playing these games that these high lords play. She's gonna take Westeros with fire and blood. I want to give a thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon. As always, thanks for watching this video. Please do me a favor and like this video if you like it. Please click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell and join the Sweet Summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children. Have a good day.